In this tutorial, we're going to cover how to manage QuickBooks accounts. This is for users of QuickBooks, of course, who QuickBooks has it's a pretty powerful accounting program, and Portal Pro can integrate with that. So you can send invoices and purchase orders to QuickBooks and then let QuickBooks handle payments out to your vendors or payments in from your customers on invoices. So to do that, we're going to come in. Now this would be for the accounts, or in other words, your chart of accounts through QuickBooks. So to do that, we want to go into Administration and then come down here to Manage QuickBooks Accounts. And that will open up this form here. This side over here is where you manage those chart of accounts. And when you first get Portal Pro and you let us know that you're going to be using QuickBooks, if you recall, we will import your existing chart of accounts out of QuickBooks and into Portal Pro. So you'll have the list of accounts that QuickBooks will be using or need. And this is the list right here that we pulled out of our copy of QuickBooks. And these are all the accounts with the account numbers, the type of account, and description. So you can see that here in QuickBooks we have open. These are the chart of accounts. So let's say we want to add a new account. The first thing we need to do is you can check up here first to make sure it's not already in here. And you also want to check on the account number, because you want to make sure you use a distinct number. So let's say we're going to add maybe one for income, and we're going to call it unreimbursed freight charges or something like that. Or reimbursed freight charges rather. Let's say that's for when you ship items out and you charge your customer the freight charges for it. So we want to use that income account for those freight charges. So we're going to go ahead and make a new one. Now you can see there's already one here called Shipping and Delivery Income, which I could use that, but I'm going to go ahead and add a new one anyway. And we're going to use account number 48, maybe 4900. Let's call it 49900. We'll follow the same numerical sequence they're using here. So 49900. And I'll go ahead and click on it to keep it up here so I can see it. So what I'm going to do is select the account type. And for this, we're going to use, we'll just use maybe other income instead of the income account type. And the account number was going to be 49900, so I'll type that in here. Now if I do happen to type a number that's already in use, like this, and I move out of that box, it's going to tell me it already exists, so I need to edit it or change it. So let's go over and make that 49900. Now down here we're going to give it the full name. We're going to call this Reimbursed Freight Charges. Now, if this should be a sub-account of another account, maybe I wanted to make this a sub-account of income. What I could do is I could select income. If I check this box, then you can see these are the income accounts I could select from. And I could put this under 48900, and that way income would be the parent account type, and I could create a new income type under that for the freight charges, and I could put it under this shipping and delivery, but we're not going to do that, so let's just leave that unchecked and put this back to other income. And then down here, of course, give it a description, and I'm just going to use the same thing. Like that. We'll say save account. Now, the first time you add something into QuickBooks, If you're going to, like in this, we're adding an account, and you'll get this even if you're doing, let's say, a new customer, a new vendor, or something like that. You're going to get this pop-up from QuickBooks. Now, I typically take this one here. It wants you to verify that you're going to want to allow this program to access your company file in QuickBooks. So I typically say yes whenever this QuickBooks company file is open. I've never used this one. This could be one. I think it may want to automatically open QuickBooks, but I don't have the code in there to do that, so I don't suggest using that one. So just check this box here, the third one, and then click continue, and then say yes to this box. Are you sure you want to allow this access? And then one more time, click done. It's going to add this add account to this company file. We'll say done. And there it is. There's the new account that's been added, $49,900. So now we have this in QuickBooks, and anytime we add a new product or anything that's related to this in Portal Pro, that's the account we want to use. So I'll say yes to this or okay. And now you can see right there we have the new account. And we also have it over here if we're going to be updating products of any sort. You'll find this down here also, other income. So that's how you would add a new account. Now, if you have an account that you know for sure will never be used in Portal Pro, then I would just go ahead and inside QuickBooks and add that account there. If it's not going to be used in Portal Pro, there's no need in adding it through Portal Pro. That could be anything, but that's all up to you on how you handle your accounts. So, just something to keep in mind when you're adding accounts for QuickBooks in Portal Pro. Now in this section over here, this is where you can update the accounts that all the products in your database will use for QuickBooks. And so depending on the part type, right here, that will determine which one of these three fields are actually needed. For example, if we take a look, let's take a look in QuickBooks or Portal Pro first at an item. We have an item pulled up here. This is the area here for the accounting part for QuickBooks. So you have a part type. This is called inventory part. So you have three accounts: income, cost of goods, and asset account. Now, depending on the part type that you select here, will determine which one of these fields are needed. So you want to make sure you get all the necessary accounts entered, so that when you're sending invoices or purchase orders into QuickBooks, they'll know what accounts to use for those products on those items. Now, if you're not sure, one thing you can do is pull up QuickBooks, and we'll go over to the items and services thing right here, and just go down here to item and click on new. And you can see let's go ahead and select inventory part first. You can see inventory part is calling for three different fields. We've got a cost of goods account that you need to select, an income account, and an asset account. So there's three accounts needed for an inventory part. So if we come back over to Portal Pro, you would have to fill in all three of these fields here with something. Now, if it's let's say a non-inventory part, there's only one account field. And that one I would just go ahead and put maybe in the income account field. And if we take something like service, service has, looks like just one account also. So you would only select one or fill in one of these fields in Portal Pro right here. Just maybe keep them all under income account. And for, what else do we have here? Well, maybe other charge. Other charge has the same thing, just one account. And let's see if we have anything else that we're using in Portal Pro. None of these other items we're actually using in Portal Pro, so we won't go over any of those. So those are things to keep in mind when you're in Portal Pro and you're adding. You want to update the accounts used when you send items over to Portal Pro. And this will be for all the products that are currently in your database. So when it first opens up, you can see everything is checked. Now these are only categories, and these are the categories I should have mentioned. These are only categories that are currently being used in the product table. So it's not all the categories. So if there's a category that you start using, you can come back over here and you add a bunch of products to it. You can come back here and update that, or you can go ahead and do that when you're adding the items here to select the necessary income accounts that you need, depending on what the items are. So when you come in, let's say when you first get Portal Pro, your chart of accounts may be different from the chart of accounts that were originally used when you got Portal Pro, because that chart of accounts came from our copy of QuickBooks. Your chart of accounts could be different, and it probably will be different, and one thing that will definitely be different is there's a hidden ID. It's called a QuickBooks List ID. That's an ID that's used in the background. You never see it. You don't even know it exists, but it is there. And that is an ID that we copy over for you when we copy in your chart of accounts. So your QuickBooks file will probably have a unique ID. So it will not match what was in Portal Pro. So we actually wipe your table clean of any QuickBooks IDs when you first get Portal Pro. And that's why we have to import your chart of accounts, so we get that ID and also any chart of accounts that you've added to QuickBooks before you got Portal Pro, if you were using it before Portal Pro. So the thing we need to do is update all of those accounts. Now if you look at the categories, almost everything in here will be pretty much the same thing. They're going to be inventory parts. So what you can do is leave them all checked, and then now if you want to uncheck them, you can click this box to check it and then uncheck it, and it clears out everything. But we're going to go ahead and check it back, and it will automatically check all the boxes for you. And then we can go down and unselect the ones that we do not want to keep. So let's do the parts up here first. We'll do inventory part, and for our income account we'll do income sales, and cost of goods will be cost of goods. Now these are going to be whatever your accounting department or your accountant will recommend to you. So just because I'm selecting them here doesn't mean you should select them also. So keep that in mind. And then for asset account, I believe we have another, let's see, yeah, right here. Other current asset, inventory asset. In fact, I believe we added that account to Portal Pro and to QuickBooks. So I'm going to select that. So all the items, inventory parts that we want to include in this, we need to go down and uncheck the ones that are not included, like freight. Freight will have some different accounts, so I'll uncheck that one. And labor will be different, because that's a service. And that should be everything. So once we have everything checked and ready to go, we come down here, we click on Update Products. Now, I've already done this, so I'm not going to go through it again. It will, with this many checked, it's going to have to update a lot of products, so you'll have to give it time to finish. But it will go through, and all the items in the database that are marked as an inventory part will be used, and for these categories rather, will be marked as inventory with these three accounts. And we'll go ahead and pull up QuickBooks. I'll give you an example. That's how Portal Pro rather. Any one of these products I select here, you can see that they're all marked inventory, sales income, cost of goods, and inventory asset. So those are all marked or saved in the database that way. So any one of these products now, if I sent an invoice or a purchase order to QuickBooks, those items would be added to the database. And you can see when those items are added. When we do that, if we come over to items and services right here, I've added already, looks like some wood doors, and looks like a hinge jamb, maybe Curry's, that's an inventory part. Your sales tax items, that's covered in another tutorial. Those will be added here also. And so that way you'll get the correct sales tax percent that you'll be charging. And then any other inventory parts or freight items will go in there also. So that's in the item list right here. Now for once that is done, I'm going to go ahead and uncheck all of these. Now I can come back and do the ones that I did not check. For example, freight. I'll go ahead and check that. And I want to make the necessary changes up here. And I believe freight, we're going to do that as other charge. Again, you'll do whatever your accounting department recommends for this. And we're going to use this here, income, shipping and delivery income, cost of goods, that will be freight costs, and asset account. Actually, I don't think we need that. So this one, I'll go back up and I'll select this empty space here to clear that out. And then once that's checked, I just click Update Products, and they'll be saved to your database and update those fields, and you can verify that. I'll give you an example. I believe freight is that will be under your company name. And then our copy here, it's called Contract Door Company. And if I select freight here as a category, these are the two freight items. Actually, we did use an asset account, other current asset. Okay, so that's how we set it up. Another thing you could do is in QuickBooks, if you come into QuickBooks, let's get this down here where you can see it. If you go under File, and either, if you've never opened it, you'll have to go to Open or Restore Company. And we're going to say, leave that to Open Company File. No. In this field here, you can click this Open a Sample File. Now, we've already opened it, that's this one here, but if you click on this, you can open up a product-based business or a service-based business. So let's just go ahead and we'll select the product-based business. We'll open it up. Yep. No, I don't want to report about that. And then once I'm in here, I can pull up some items and say, let's go into this, and I can look at how the accounts that they used when they did these, like service and inventory parts and other charges, non-inventory. I would just double click one, and you can look at the accounts that they used. Like here's an expense account, and this is what they used. They used it a cost of goods sold. This is probably an account that they added or created. And then income account, they did the same thing. They created a construction income and then added a bunch of accounts underneath that, or sub-accounts rather, for an income category. So use this as an example or an idea on how maybe QuickBooks set up some of these accounts and products in their copy of their company file. So that's one example there. That's pretty well covered. I think we've covered everything, and as far as updating the products and accounts and things like that, or adding new accounts in QuickBooks. So if you have any questions or concerns on this, please give us a call, and we'll be more than happy to help you out. Thanks, and have a great day.